Should you tip your barista? It's a good question.
It is a good question.
It's a loaded question. But this is a great question because it is tricky and it is something that has just been normal for so long, and most people have never thought to question it or to maybe realize why it's happening in the first place. So we wanted to dig into it and talk about the origin of it, how tipping started in general, how it got into the coffee scene, and ultimately whether or not you should.
Wow.
There it is, Chief.
Wow. It's crazy to just start. I don't know. It feels weird.
You
it feels
gotta
like you need
start
a warm
somewhere.
up. And we just clicked the button. We didn't
I
even
was
say
walking around. I warmed up.
We didn't even say rolling.
You've just been sitting here the whole time.
You
Cold
clicked
start.
record, and I said, wow. Nobody was ready for that.
start.
I wasn't even ready for that.
Welcome to the Equal Parts Coffee Podcast.
You're Jack.
I'm Jack.
You're Jack, yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. Sometimes it's hard to remember my own name.
And what episode is it? Because I genuinely don't know.
Episode 23. Lord willing. I don't know what that means, but
Hey, it's good
to
say.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
we'll go such and such a town, and we'll make such and such a profit. You know, but what if?
What if?
You know.
Yeah.
Episode 23, Lord willing.
Yes. Amen to that.
All right.
Coffee.
I feel like it's been a while since I feel like we've had a kind of a regular episode.
Yeah.
Time.
Just
I don't know.
Us.
It just felt different.
We've been cooking away, and I won't say anything yet, but we're cooking more. So stay tuned.
Dude, there's a couple of things in the oven, and
in the pan.
There are a couple of things that have left the oven as well. Crazy transition. Didn't even plan that.
That's
yeah. I feel like part of the craziness and everything that's been going on. For one, I have changed jobs.
real.
So that's happened. I no longer work in coffee, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
And nothing, aside from drinking less coffee because I don't have constant immediate access to it in the same way, I still enjoy it just as much.
I mean, you've got a pretty good setup at home too, you
Yeah.
know, to get tinkering in there. Of course, we have this outlet here for talking about coffee. So, coffee's for everyone, folks. I think we've talked about that plenty, but
I have something else to say, but this smells really good.
it does.
It's like wafting.
Do you want to talk about this coffee? Or?
Into my nose area. Well, sure. Yeah, let's talk about the coffee, and then we'll talk about.
So this coffee is from our friends, Klatch Coffee. We're tasting this one up front here. This is the Kenya. I'm gonna butcher this. Bergwu Championship. Yeah, I told you I was gonna butcher it. Championship selection. So this is their Pearl Reserve. So kind of similar to the Mundos Highland collection. So more specialty, comes in the smaller box. I really love it. Hold on, you gotta take a look at this.
This is really good.
Packaging. Hold on. I don't know if you guys can see that, but look at the shiny. Come on, look at that.
Yeah, this honestly, it smells great and it is really good.
I apologize to the audio listeners. I'm trying to show you guys a video of the bag, but you can't see it.
It's I feel like I'm getting as with Kenyan coffees, there's definitely stone fruit nature to it, right?
Yeah.
Maybe kind of apricot. I feel like you get a lot of apricot notes in
For
washed
sure.
African coffees.
Yep.
That's good.
It's just I've been dialing in my Aiden recently. This was brewed in the Aiden, and this is even better than the first time I had this. They sent this to us a minute ago, but we have been busy with life and a lot of other things and recording different episodes and whatnot, virtual episodes. We haven't been able to sit down and drink some of our coffee. We've got even more coffee back there. So thank you for everyone who sends us coffee. And
yes,
don't stop sending us coffee.
Yeah, don't stop. Grapefruit, the pink grapefruit. You see grapefruit notes on coffee, but this right now, I feel like it has a very it's in the finish, but it has the texture of grapefruit in your mouth and the way that the acidity kind of tingles your buds.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like a lot of coffees that have a grapefruit note, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, it's just acidic. Okay, so it's grapefruit, right? But this one has like the florality of grapefruit.
It's tingling my buds right at the end, just like the old grapefruit does.
Expressing the grapefruit peel onto my tongue.
Mm-hmm.
It tingles.
It's like I took that spoon that has the little teeth on the end of it, and I took a bite of grapefruit. You know?
What are you talking about?
You never used a grapefruit spoon?
No.
Huh. It's like a spoon, but
I didn't know there was such a thing.
it's like an in-between of a spoon and a spork to where it just kind of has like a serrated end.
Great.
It's to help you scoop. We had one in my house.
Are a great analogy for how you develop palates, because I grew up hating grapefruits. It was always like, it's like an orange that's not sweet. Like what's the big idea? But now I love grapefruits. There's much more complexity to a grapefruit rather than an orange because of the less sugar that's in it. There's more going on.
Yeah.
I feel the same way with coffee. I like those coffees that kind of like they wake you up. They hit you in the face. You cannot ignore them.
Yeah. I got to give it to you, Klatch. Putting the encouraging, give us a squeeze on there.
No way.
Dan would never. We're looking at our shelves and it's like, who's been squeezing all these bags? We got to straighten these out again. Somebody squeezed all the bags.
You don't think about when you're going to design some coffee packaging.
Oh man,
you don't think about, can your bag withstand a squeeze? Because we found it the hard way. Some bags cannot withstand. They have permanent creases.
And I mean, there's varying degrees of squeezers too.
Oh yeah.
There's some gentle squeezers and some vigorous squeezers. Yeah. And they are just absolutely just like wrenching on that bag.
This is bold though, you know. I mean, obviously they've thought this through. They've developed these to be squeezed.
Yeah.
You know?
They said we have confidence that our bag can withstand a little squeeze.
Honestly, I like that. That's great.
Hit me with your best squeeze.
Yes. You know, and you wouldn't think that you would squeeze a box, but
people do.
I've seen it before. There's no vent. There's no vent for the coffee. You know, there's a vent. There's a one-way valve on here that lets the carbon dioxide out, but not let oxygen in. You can squeeze that to smell it. There's nothing on here. There's no vent. So I've seen squeezing happen, and it's always a pain to watch because the boxes we have at least have horrible creases when they get bent. So sometimes you just have to repackage the boxes. But
yeah,
well.
So where did we get these coffees from?
Where did we get them from?
Yes.
Klatch sent us.
Oh, Klatch sent them on their own. Okay, I didn't even realize that.
They reached out to us and they wanted to send us some coffee, and I'll never say no to coffee. You know me. So
yeah, these are awesome.
Trying these coffees. Thank you so much for sending these. Super delicious. I think I've tried this one on espresso. This one I pour over numerous times. There's not very much of this left. I love Kenyans. And this one I have not tried yet. But this is their I like the roaster on this one. Empire Coffee.
What roaster is that? What does it look like?
That looks like a Diedrich to me.
Klatch,
is that a Diedrich? It looks like a Diedrich, maybe like a 25 kilo.
That looks like a Diedrich.
It does look like a Diedrich.
I mean, the handles are in the same exact place. They have the same sampler.
You know, roasters are pretty similar in design, but that looks like a Diedrich.
That's a Diedrich.
Defining factors.
That's a Diedrich. I've greased that right there. I've greased, you know. Klatch, let us know. Is this a Diedrich?
Man, grease your roasters, I'm telling you.
Don't forget to grease your roasters, guys.
Got any other housekeeping tips? Put a blanket over your pumpkins.
Put a blanket over your pumpkins.
If you're outside.
Grease your dryer. You did that.
It actually works. Man, YouTube is the best. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're the best. But watch the tutorial. My dryer was making horrible squeaking noises, and now it's not. Buttery smooth. It's like a brand new dryer.
But to get back to the life updates.
Real.
I have had a child since.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let me be not the first to say.
I'm first to say on a podcast.
I think Landon said on the episod with him.
Unless
that was the part after the mic died.
He said, shout out Nick. I didn't hear him say anything about my child. But
maybe that was off camera. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's been great. Norman, he's a sleeper. He's a crier, he's an eater, and a pooper, you know? But
Run of
who
the mill.
isn't?
Real.
Who
He's
isn't?
living the life, you know?
Yep, he is.
Yeah, how's the parent life treating you? Getting any sleep these days?
He sleeps pretty good. It's hard to complain about it when
Nice.
you know that other people have worse.
What does that mean? Does that mean that your second child will not sleep at all or something like that? Is that what people say?
Everybody says that they all are very different.
Yeah.
Like they never have like any of their kids have the same kind
Sure.
of temperaments or sleep, but
That makes sense.
he will sleep for like 3-4 hours at a time during the night. So,
Yes.
yeah. But then there's also nights where he just is furiously hungry the entire night.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah. Yeah. The last week especially, he's been growing a lot. He's a month old now, but yeah, he's just like gotten a lot bigger, and he's just been eating
Another
constantly.
pounds.
Yep.
He's on that bulk.
Yeah, he's on that bulk, you know.
Real. Well,
Yeah.
me, I am heading into that no sleep season here soon for the next month. Expecting a baby girl in end of November. So
Pretty hype.
it is pretty hype. I am stoked. I'm so happy. So
Yeah, that's exciting.
yeah, it's gonna be fire.
Okay, predictions. Do you think that it'd be early, later on time?
I think on time to early, but not like crazy early, like within a week.
Okay.
I'm thinking. Just because, she's measuring slightly above.
Okay.
But they say no concern. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Well, that's how Norman was too. He was he was big, and yeah,
Real?
he came 2 weeks early, and then he was just the right size. So.
At what age will Norman start to drink coffee, do you think? Like, I guess.
They can start having solids around 6 months,
But liquids before that?
basically whenever he wants to.
Man. When is he going to pull his first shot of espresso? When is he going to be on the podcast? That's what I want to know.
Well,
asking the real questions.
That'll be maybe a little bit longer.
A little bit longer.
Honestly.
Yeah, for
Not
real.
even gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's not going to listen, people. Before you call CPS or anything, I'm not going to give them excessive amounts of caffeine.
No.
Okay.
It's going to be decaf,
Of course. There's some great decafs out there.
There is. Yeah. All right.
What have you been up to at work? I'm honestly curious.
Man, we have been up to a lot of things. We've been winding down for the season. We've done the farmers market this year at Mundos, but we've got a van now for it. We've kind of switched what we've been doing back and forth a little bit, but the end goal was kind of have a vehicle to serve out of, just for ease of use, and for you don't have to pack up every single time. You have everything ready to go, but also speed of service. Everything's all in one place that you can remember. And then the end goal, I'm thinking next year, is to have a little single group espresso machine in there to kind of bring that little extra charm to the farmers market. Also expand that to venue or events, weddings or whatever it may be. So if you need a coffee at your event / wedding, don't let me know just yet because we're not ready. But soon.
Demand creates demand. So
Supply.
whatever the word, like if you want it, you might be able to get it.
Demands supply.
Demand demands supply. Okay. So if you are interested, you might not be able to get it just yet, but don't be shy to reach
fret.
out, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and also we've been doing events. We know how to do them. It's not going to be a van just yet, but we have the van. But I'm trying to get some graphics for it, get that printed, getting some new, believe it or not, custom cups for the first time. And
That's hype.
well, actually not. We had it one time, but it was before we knew what we were doing. And apparently, because cups are like slanted, if you try to print like a flat design on it, it's going to be skewed.
Oh no.
So you have to do some skewing of your own to kind of anti-skew. You know what I'm saying? To make it appear flat. Because it's flat surface.
What happened? When did we have these cups? Because I heard
2018, 2019, maybe. It was a small run of just the Mundos logo, and it was bad, man. It was bad.
Did you use
cold
them, though?
cups, hot cups? We used them. It wasn't like horrible, but it just stamped looked better than it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's sweet. I'm excited about the custom cups.
And with that, obviously, I had just gotten Pantone color book because I want these colors to be just right. I've had issues in the past with trying to order something, and I'm seeing a color on my screen, and I'm like, oh, I want that. And then when someone goes to print it, well, maybe they have a different screen and they're getting a different color. So that helps to unify the color space.
It's crucial.
If you will. Yeah. Wasn't cheap, but it's nice.
Cool. Well, into our topic, I suppose.
Let's do it.
So we figured today we would talk about, and also some people requested, which I'm surprised we didn't really think about it.
No, it's a good question. I feel like it's been popping up more and more. Mm-hmm. Should you tip your barista? It's a good question.
It is a good question.
It's a loaded question. It was recommended by a good friend Weston to talk about this topic. And
shout out Weston.
Shout out Weston
for listening to the podcast, even though you don't like or you do like coffee. You don't care about it that much,
but, you know.
Yeah,
and that's
you're not
you're
a
in most
guy,
people's boat, you know. So most people like coffee, but maybe don't care to get more into it. And honestly, that's fine. Honestly, respect that.
Yeah, shout out for listening.
Shout out for
regardless.
Listening. But this is a great question because it is tricky, and it is something that has just been normal for so long, and most people have never thought to question it or to maybe realize why it's happening in the first place. So we wanted to dig into it and talk about the origin of it, how tipping started in general, how it got into the coffee scene, and ultimately whether or not you should.
And what's its place now too, because
world is changing.
I mean, you see the memes. You know, if you're on the internet at all, you see people. There's honestly, it's kind of a joke, but also there's like some discourse around it, because people, especially like as the economy is just like money's tighter for a lot of people.
Yeah,
they're really sick of being asked to tip for everything.
Oh yeah, well, tipping is just like, it's becoming more normal, and I think what's kind of happening is that people or companies are realizing that if you just put a tip screen on someplace, people will you'll get more tips than you won't. You know, if you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right?
Yeah, Michael Scott.
So, yeah, exactly. So if you don't have a screen that asks for a tip, then you're not going to get a tip. So people have been kind of experimenting, dipping their toes in, putting that at I've seen a lot of fast food places do it recently where they'll have a tip screen in there, and it's just kind of shocking, but why not?
Yeah, there's a lot to consider with that, but let's, to understand something, you have to understand how it started.
Yeah, exactly.
So Jack, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So let's talk about the origin of tipping, where it came from. Tipping or gratuity started in Europe, in the coffee houses there, as just a kind of way to show appreciation for the craftsmanship of what was going on. Not necessarily coffee houses, but it was at coffee houses as well as restaurants to kind of show appreciation for above and beyond service. Mm-hmm. Made its way to the U.S. 19th century. What were you going to say?
I mean, just say, hey, that was great. Here's money for you. Mm-hmm. Like the person who served me, here is a small amount of additional money just to show that I appreciated the work that you did.
Yeah, and I think we can all agree that like the tips, like from where they originated, they've have good intentions. They come from a good place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it started in Europe and was adopted in the U.S. early 19th century. Some people say it means to ensure prompt service, but that's false. That's what we call a backronym. It was an acronym that was created for the word after the word existed. So we don't really know the origin of the word tips per se.
Like many of the backronyms for Ford. Like, the trucks.
Are there backronyms for Ford? No, I don't know.
There's like
a lot
100,
of them.
When people are making fun of them. Anyway, continue.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But obviously that doesn't work anyway because they would have to use the insure with an I, which is like insurance, and that's not. Anyway, that's not neither here nor there. I've heard people tell me, "Oh, did you know that It was to Insure Prompt Service, but it's not. So we're going to dispel that rumor right here.
Shut that down.
Shut it down. Don't say that anymore. It's not funny.
Hey, stop saying
Maybe
that.
it is funny. As
Stop
long
it.
as long as we know it's a joke.
Stop it.
Tipping became a 2-tier wage structure. So it starting as this thing, which is kind of a above and beyond appreciation for something or for something or for service, whatever it may be, slowly started to become a part of people's wages. You know, at restaurants, you would make less and less money because tipping became higher and higher, and not necessarily because people were tipping more, but because it became more of the norm. Now it's pretty standard if we're at a restaurant, you're tipping 15 to 20%. So like,
And it's expected.
it's expected, and sometimes it's even enforced on certain party sizes. They'll tell you ahead of time because they legally have to that we're going to apply a gratuity, or sometimes it's called a service fee because of the legality of gratuity, because gratuity is supposed to be meant to be optional. So as soon as you start to go into that enforcement category, it's no longer optional anymore. So they're kind of skirting the line there. So I do know that if you are going to enforce a tip at your place of business, you have to let your customers know beforehand. You can't blindside them with an additional charge. That's not legal. So tipping became the moral/obligatory expectation in the service industry. So what became as a above and beyond type of thing, you know, everyone wanted to do that. They wanted to be generous, you know, and that's a great thing. Everyone wants to be generous to those who are working in the service industry because it is hard work, you know. You don't get shown appreciation all the time, so it is a nice thing to do, but it became the norm.
And it's a good incentive structure.
Yeah.
To encourage better service.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, in a lot of instances in the restaurant world, it is a great thing because you are incentivized to serve well because you're more likely to get a higher tip. But it is a kind of standard now too. Even if you have bad service, you're still going to tip somebody, you know. Otherwise, you have that guilt of like they're not getting paid, which is true. You know, like I think the laws say that you can even, in certain states, pay below minimum wage to have tips make up that difference to minimum wage.
A lot of states.
I think most of them. All of them, probably. I didn't look into it. But
it's very common. It's a common
thing. Yeah, there is that, and that's a pretty normal thing at restaurants. But as long as people are making the amount of money that they're agreed to work for, that's all fine and good. So yeah. And then from there, it started at coffee shops. Like when third wave coffee started to take off and smaller cafes started to take off and iPad registers were kind of started to become the norm, what's called a pre-service tipping. That's what really started.
And that is because of using cards.
Yes.
Right? Like you can't tip post-service with a card unless you're going to go to a kiosk and
exactly
tap
and,
a card.
And that's why it works at the restaurant. You know, you're sitting down, you're going to stay there the whole time. They give you the bill at the end and you can pay. But with a coffee shop, it's just a completely different experience. You know, you go in, you order your drink at the counter, you go sit down, and then either they bring it to you or they call your name, and that's just how it goes. So if you do want to tip, then you're going to tip
beforehand.
Unless,
of course, you're tipping cash. And there are people that do that.
Yeah.
We'll tip after.
Yeah. Absolutely. But if you tip beforehand, then you don't really know how their service is going to be. You're just kind of assuming or hoping it's going to be good service, and you're really just tipping because it's normal, you know?
Yeah, because it's an expectation.
Mm-hmm. Now, what we're not saying is to like think about that and to go in and to not tip people, because for one, it is the norm. So if you start going to places where tipping is the norm, that's part of their income, then they're just going to start. People are going to start making less money. But
yeah, there's honestly a lot to think about.
Yeah.
With it, and it's not so cut and dry. Because there's a lot of factors. One, you do have to consider that whether it's right or not, or whether or not it should be a societal thing, it is normal for it to make up an important percentage of that person's income.
Mm-hmm.
And so the employer, to an extent, has put the burden onto you to be responsible for making sure that this person has that their needs are met. And so, and there are a lot of situations like that, especially like at restaurants.
It kind of leads to like sometimes almost deceptive pricing, I feel, at restaurants, where the prices you're seeing for the food is not actually reflective of what the prices really are sometimes, because you have that tip on top of there. That, what is the alternative to tipping? Is there an alternative for places that don't provide maybe as much service as a restaurant?
The alternative is more expensive food.
I'll be ready for that conversation.
That's the thing. It's like, we'll use coffee as an example because coffee, obviously this is a coffee podcast, and it is something that we both know very well is far too cheap across the board. Yeah. Right. We're going to take out how even farmers that are paid well are generally underpaid. Mm-hmm. And everybody along that line that needs to make money, and just go look at the bar side of things. But most baristas are underpaid. And even if they're paid well compared to other cafes, right? Like even if the employer isn't actively taking advantage of them by like cutting their wages and using tips and stuff, they're still not going to make like a ton of money, It's very uncommon to be able to honestly have a career in coffee because of money. Yeah. And so the question is,
in coffee shops, there's just not a lot of money to go around. It's lower minimum or lower
margins are very small in the coffee world because of that, because the customer expectation is that coffee should be cheap.
Yes.
And the reality of it is that coffee is not cheap.
No.
So you have to consider that, it's like, okay, I can tip on the end of this, or, I should probably in reality be paying $6, $8, $10 for an espresso sometimes in this economy, and depending on the coffee that you're getting, but instead you're paying $4 and tipping. So if every coffee shop, across the country were to start being able to pay their baristas, or even just their upper management, to be able to, save money, pay rent, right? Yeah. Like those kind of those basic things, to where their rent's a third of their income, and all of those standards, like the cost of living just in the United States, your coffee prices would go up a lot. Yeah. And so the money has to come from somewhere. Yeah. That's true. Mm-hmm.
The tricky thing about tipping is that it's not exactly the same as paying a higher price, because it is optional in coffee shops. And that's one thing that not everyone will see it the same way, or at least owners of coffee shops will convey it the same way, but it is completely optional. Like, you do not have to come into a tip. We don't ever want it to be expected. We do take tips because that is the norm, and people want to give us tips. We've had instances where we're doing markets, or maybe I'll ring somebody up for a coffee bag, and I don't think that, I gave them a coffee bag. That's all I did. I didn't really do anything else. So I didn't think that a tip was needed in that scenario, but people ask me like, hey, can I leave you a tip? So it's just because of that norm that is there, and that optional above and beyond generosity that comes with tips, that it's a slightly different thing, because it even if you're paying the same amount of money, there's a different feeling that goes with it. You feel more generous. You feel like you're helping out, rather than being upset that these coffee prices are so high. Yeah, it's a tricky balance, because not everyone sees it the same way. A lot of people I've seen online, a lot of people will be like, of course I don't tip at a coffee shop. Why would I? And I get a lot of it. I understand a lot of it. Someone grabs you a muffin and they grab you a coffee from the batch brew. They didn't do a lot of service,
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, the first thing I said. Also, it's difficult because you do see a lot of people that don't tip.
Yeah.
They don't want to tip.
Mm-hmm.
They might tip at a restaurant, but definitely never for coffee.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It's a difficult one because I don't like that pre-service tipping exists at a cafe. Because that, even as somebody who works in a cafe, that's not how I want to receive a tip.
Yeah.
And that's, I honestly think that is what people are most frustrated with, is that flip the screen around, it's going to ask you a question.
Yes.
And then
so
let the
awkward.
barista look away and like act like they don't know what's on the screen.
Yes.
And from a barista perspective, it feels like you're shaking a tin can on the side of the road,
It really does.
And it's like, please give me money.
Yeah.
And that's not the way that tipping should be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the way that it has to be because of people's expectation to want to use their card. Everybody uses their card. So how else do you do that? Right? Maybe there are some solutions that'll come forward from this. Maybe there are ways to have a QR code or something and say, leave a tip.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure
the issue is that incurs a fee. So unless companies were to...
Yeah. Well, I think there probably already is a working solution out there, but the issue is that there probably is a large percentage of people that will just forget.
Yeah.
It's at a restaurant, you pay at the end. You cannot forget or they will come after you, If you dine and dash, that's generally frowned upon.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because it's like, on one hand, you get where people coming from, but on the other hand, it's a system that we're in. Are we going to change this system? Maybe. Are we going to change it today? I don't think so. So, because the question is should you tip your barista here and now?
I think that I don't think that we're going to give you a straightforward answer.
No,
Well, I think we want to just give a perspective on it.
Well, I think
I think a lot of people just don't understand what it's like to receive tips.
Mm-hmm.
And so just to be asked all the time, and especially at places like fast food places, large companies that definitely can pay their employees better, to be asked it all the time, is wearisome.
Yeah.
So I'll say it's important to be thoughtful about, right? Are you choosing not to tip because you don't like the system? Which, fair. It's okay to not like the system, but be careful that you aren't you're actually taking that out on somebody else who is being cheated by the system as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. So there are people, that are in the system that should be making more money or should be being paid more directly, and they're relying on this broken system. And are you actually just taking it out on them to be against the system? And it's not going to solve the system. It's just going to hurt people in your community. Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, guys. This is actually going to be part 1.
Oh, no.
We're going to 2-part this one. So
two-parter. It's too good.
That was part 1 on tipping. We have a lot more to say about it. So catch us.
Continue to blabber.
Yeah. Catch us next time for part 2.
See ya.